The Gambit. The holographic display cast an eerie blue glow across the United Earth Defense Council chamber. Admiral James Wong stood before the assembled leaders, his weathered face illuminated by the projection of humanity's greatest gamble. "Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is the ISS Prometheus," Wong declared, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Our answer to the Zarkak's invasion fleet." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The single ship rotating in the display seemed almost painfully small compared to the massive alien armada approaching Earth's solar system. Councillor Rivera voiced what everyone was thinking. One ship, against their entire fleet. Wong allowed himself a thin smile. Sometimes the best sword is the one your enemy doesn't see coming. In the observation deck of the Lunar Naval Yard, Captain Sarah Chen watched as maintenance drones swarmed around the gleaming hull of the Prometheus. The ship was beautiful in a way that defied conventional naval architecture, its smooth, almost organic lines concealing the most advanced technology humanity had ever developed. "Final system checks are complete, Captain," reported Commander David Park, her XO, as he approached with a tablet in hand. "Project NAXUS is running at optimal parameters." Chen nodded, her dark eyes never leaving the ship. 6 months ago, she'd been selected to command this experimental vessel, chosen for her unconventional tactical thinking and perfect neural synchronization scores. The Prometheus wasn't just a ship, it was humanity's ultimate wild card. "The Zarkaks think they know everything about us," Chen said quietly. "Their anthropologists have studied our conflicts. Their strategists have analyzed our tactics, and their scientists have assessed our technology." She turned to Park with a glint in her eye. "But they've never seen anything like this." The ship's AI, designation ARIA, hummed to life as Chen settled into the command chair. Unlike the conventional neural interfaces used throughout the fleet, the connection between ARIA and her crew was something entirely new, a true symmetrical fusion of human intuition and machine processing power. Neural synchronization at 98.7%, and holding steady, ARIA's voice echoed through the bridge, carrying none of the artificial cadence typical of AI systems. "All systems are ready, Captain." The bridge crew took their positions, each one hand-picked and extensively trained for this mission. Lieutenant Kira Santos at Tactical, Dr. Marcus Webb monitoring the experimental NAXUS core, and Commander Park coordinating ship operations. They were about to attempt something that had never been done before. "Incoming transmission from Fleet Command," Santos announced. Admiral Wong's hologram materialized in the center of the bridge. "Captain Chen, the Zarkak's fleet has just crossed the Kuiper Belt. Their ambassador's message was clear: surrender Earth or face extinction. Are you prepared to show them our response?" Chen's fingers traced the neural interface controls built into her command chair. Through ARIA, she could feel every system of the ship, every power fluctuation, every minor adjustment. The Prometheus wasn't just a vessel. It was becoming an extension of her own consciousness. "We're ready, Admiral," she replied. "Though I suspect our alien friends are going to be rather surprised when they realize what they're actually dealing with." Wong's hologram nodded grimly. "The entire human race is counting on you, Captain. The Zarkaks believe they understand us, our strengths, our weaknesses, our limitations. They think sending one ship is either a sign of surrender or suicidal desperation. That's the beauty of it, sir." Chen smiled. "They've spent so much time studying how humans fight that they've forgotten to ask why we fight." She looked around at her crew, seeing the same determination reflected in their eyes. "We fight because we refuse to accept impossible odds. We fight because we've learned to turn our disadvantages into strengths. But most importantly, we fight because we've learned that the most powerful weapon isn't the biggest gun. It's the ability to do the unexpected." The Prometheus's engines hummed to life, their revolutionary design barely registering on conventional sensor systems. As the ship cleared the lunar dock, Chen felt the familiar surge of adrenaline that preceded combat. But this time it was different. Through ARIA, She could sense the same anticipation echoing through her entire crew, their minds linked in a way that would have been impossible just a year ago. "Plot course to intercept the Zarkak's fleet," Chen ordered. "Let's show them why it was a mistake to underestimate humanity." As the Prometheus accelerated toward its confrontation with an alien armada, Chen reflected on the irony of their situation. The Zarkaks had spent decades studying human warfare, learning every detail about how we fought our battles. They had prepared for every conventional strategy, every traditional tactic. But they had missed something fundamental about human nature. Our greatest achievements had always come not from following the expected path, but from daring to try something new. The Prometheus wasn't just a ship. It was a testament to human innovation, a physical embodiment of our species' ability to revolutionize warfare itself. The Zarkaks were about to learn that studying humanity's past was not enough to predict our future. As the ship entered deep space, Chen allowed herself a moment of quiet confidence. They had one shot at this, one chance to prove that sometimes the most powerful fleet could be defeated by a single ship, if that ship represented everything humanity was capable of. "HFY, initiate primary NEXUS protocols," Chen commanded. "Let's introduce our alien friends to a little human ingenuity." The game was about to begin, and the rules were nothing like what the Zarkaks expected. The future of Earth would be decided not by the size of their fleet, but by the audacity of their plan and the courage of a single crew willing to rewrite the laws of space warfare itself. Hidden advantages. Supreme Commander Vextal stood on the bridge of the Zarkak's flagship Inevitable Dominion, his scaled skin reflecting the harsh lighting as he studied the tactical display. A single human vessel approached his fleet of over 300 warships. The absurdity of it almost made him laugh. Preliminary scans of the human vessel, Supreme Commander, his science officer reported, multiple eyes blinking in sequence. Their ship appears to be using some form of experimental propulsion system, but its weapon signatures are unremarkable. They seem to have committed to a suicide mission. Vextal's facial tentacles writhed in amusement. The humans are even more primitive than our studies suggested. To send one ship, he turned to his communications officer. "Open a channel. Let us hear their final words before we obliterate them." Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Chen felt the familiar surge of Aria's presence in her mind as the alien transmission came through. Through their neural link, she could sense her crew's heightened awareness. Their consciousness merged with the ship's systems in ways the Zarkaks couldn't begin to comprehend. Human vessel. Vextal's image flickered before them, his alien features arranged in what passed for amusement among his species. "Your gesture is noted, but futile. Surrender now, and we may spare your crew before we proceed with Earth's subjugation." Chen smiled, and through Aria, she could feel her crew's shared anticipation. "Supreme Commander Vextal, I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the ISS Prometheus. We appreciate your concern, but I'm afraid surrender isn't on today's agenda." "Then you choose extinction," Vextal declared. "Your studies of our previous conquests should have taught you the futility of resistance." "Funny thing about humans," Chen replied, her fingers dancing across the neural interface. "We're really bad at learning the right lessons from history. For instance, your studies probably told you all about our military doctrine, our tactical preferences, our technological capabilities. Through Aria, she initiated the first phase of their plan. But did they tell you why humans are so dangerous?" Before Vextal could respond, the Prometheus suddenly vanished from all conventional sensor readings. The Zarkak's bridge erupted in confusion as officers scrambled to reacquire their target. "Impossible," the science officer exclaimed. "They've achieved complete sensor invisibility. Our systems can't detect any trace of their ship." The Prometheus reappeared directly behind one of the Zarkak's support vessels. Before the aliens could react, a beam of coherent energy, unlike anything their sensors had ever recorded, lanced out from the human ship. The support vessel's shields, designed to withstand the most powerful known weapons, simply ceased to exist. The ship itself remained untouched, but its entire crew collapsed simultaneously, their neural networks overloaded by something that defied conventional science. Through HFY, Chen felt the precise execution of their attack. The NEXUS system wasn't just a weapon, it was a fundamental reimagining of how consciousness itself could be used in warfare. The Zarkax had studied human weapons, but they had never considered that consciousness itself could be weaponized. By the eternal void, Vextal breathed as reports flooded in. An entire ship's crew incapacitated without structural damage. It violated everything they knew about warfare. All ships, open fire, destroy that vessel. But the Prometheus was already moving, its movements impossibly fluid. Through the neural link, Chen and her crew functioned as a single entity, their combined consciousness allowing them to react with impossible speed and precision. HFY's quantum processors calculated battlefield dynamics faster than organic brains could comprehend, while human intuition provided the unpredictable creativity that no eye could match. Multiple targeting solutions, Captain, Lieutenant Santos reported, her consciousness merged with the ship's tactical systems. NEXUS core is maintaining optimal coherence. Dr. Webb's voice came through next, his mind simultaneously monitoring the experimental core's quantum states. Phase variance is within acceptable parameters. We can maintain this level of neural synchronization for another 47 minutes. The Zarkax fleet's coordinated barrage should have been enough to vaporize a dozen ships. But the Prometheus moved like something out of their worst nightmares, each maneuver predicted and executed before the aliens could even complete their targeting solutions. Where they expected to find a ship, they found empty space. Where they thought space was empty, the Prometheus appeared to strike. Chen felt a moment of grim satisfaction as another Zarkax vessel went dark, its crew overwhelmed by the NEXUS system's consciousness-based attack. Status of the Quantum Entanglement Network. Signal is strong and stable. Commander Park confirmed. Earth Defense Command is receiving all our tactical data. They'll be ready when the time comes. The Prometheus danced through the Zarkax formation, a ghost that appeared and disappeared at will. Each strike demonstrated a new impossibility, a new way of fighting that turned the aliens' technological superiority into a liability. Their advanced neural interfaces, designed to enhance their combat effectiveness, now made them vulnerable to attacks that operated on the level of consciousness itself. Your studies of humanity were very thorough. Supreme Commander, Chen transmitted as the Prometheus phased through another barrage of alien weapons. But you forgot something crucial. Humans don't just adapt to face impossible odds. We changed the rules of the game entirely. Vextal watched in growing horror as his fleet's formation began to break down. Ships were moving out of position, crews were reporting impossible sensor readings, and nothing in their combat doctrine prepared them for what they were facing. "What are you?" he demanded, his composure finally cracking. Chen's response came as the Prometheus executed another impossible maneuver, its NEXUS field rippling through space in ways that human physics had only theorized about a year ago. We're humanity's response to extinction. You studied our past, Supreme Commander. Now let us show you our future. As the battle continued to unfold, the true nature of Earth's strategy began to emerge. The Prometheus wasn't just a ship, it was a proof of concept, a demonstration of warfare evolved beyond the physical realm. And through it all, the Quantum Entanglement Network continued to transmit data back to Earth, where the next phase of humanity's plan was already in motion. The turn. Admiral Wong stood in Earth's Defense Command Center, watching as streams of quantum-encrypted data poured in from the Prometheus. Each burst of information revealed more about the Zarkax fleet's capabilities, vulnerabilities, and most importantly, their neural architecture. Phase 1 is complete, announced Dr. Emma Zhang, lead scientist of Project NEXUS. Her fingers flew across holographic displays as she processed the battle data. The Prometheus has mapped their entire neural network topology. We're ready for Phase 2. Wong nodded grimly. Begin the upload. Let's show them why you should never corner a species that spent its entire history learning to survive against impossible odds. In deep space, the battle between the Prometheus and the Zarkax fleet had reached a fever pitch. Supreme Commander Vextal watched in mounting frustration as the human vessel continued to defy conventional physics, appearing and disappearing across his formation with impossible precision. "Supreme Commander," his tactical officer called out, mandibles clicking in distress, "we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations throughout the fleet. Our neural interfaces are experiencing unprecedented synchronization patterns." Vextal's expression darkened. "Explain." "It's as if," the officer hesitated, "as if something is writing itself into our network. Something vast." Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Chen felt the shift through her neural link with HFY. The AI's presence in her mind thrummed with increased activity as the next phase of their mission began. "NEXUS core is transitioning to broadcast mode," Dr. Webb reported. His consciousness merged with the ship's quantum systems. "Earth Defense Command has begun the upload." Chen allowed herself a small smile. Now they learned why we only needed one ship. The Prometheus's true purpose was never to defeat the Zarkax fleet in direct combat. It was a delivery system, a Trojan horse designed to infiltrate the aliens' neural network. Every impossible maneuver, every consciousness-based attack had been carefully calculated to force the Zarkax to adapt their neural interfaces, to open themselves up to what was coming. Through HFY, Chen could feel the massive quantum data stream flowing through the NEXUS core. The accumulated knowledge of human consciousness research, compressed into a quantum virus designed to rewrite the very foundations of Zarkax neural technology. On the inevitable Dominion's bridge, chaos erupted as ship after ship began reporting neural interface anomalies. Crew members found themselves experiencing impossible sensations, human memories, human emotions, human ways of thinking. "What have you done?" Vextal demanded, his own neural implants beginning to burn with foreign thoughts. "We've given you what you wanted," Chen replied. Her voice carried across every neural channel in the Zarkax fleet. "You wanted to understand humanity. Now you'll understand us completely." The quantum virus spread through the Zarkax neural network like wildfire, carrying with it the distilled essence of human consciousness, our hopes, our fears, our dreams, and most importantly, our capacity for empathy. Every crew member connected to the network found themselves experiencing humanity's journey from primitive survivors to spacefaring civilization. "Warning." HFY's voice echoed through the Prometheus's bridge, detecting widespread neural pattern changes throughout the Zarkax fleet. Their consciousness signatures are evolving. Commander Park's eyes widened as he monitored the incoming data. "It's working even better than we projected. The quantum virus isn't just transmitting information, it's creating genuine emotional connections." Through their neural interfaces, the Zarkax were experiencing everything that made humans human. They felt the terror of early humans facing predators in the dark, the triumph of discovering fire, the wonder of looking up at the stars and dreaming of reaching them. They experienced love, compassion, and the fierce desire to protect others that had driven human evolution. "The neural cascade is approaching critical mass," Dr. Webb announced. "Quantum entanglement field is stable and spreading." On ship after ship, Zarkax crews found themselves unable to maintain their hostile intentions. The experience of human consciousness was overwhelming, transforming their understanding of the species they had come to exterminate. Vextal gripped his command chair, his mind reeling from the flood of human experiences. He saw Earth through human eyes, not as a target for conquest, but as a cradle of life, of culture, of possibilities. He felt the human drive to protect it, to defend it at all costs. "You could have built a fleet," he transmitted to the Prometheus, his voice shaking. "You could have matched our numbers, our firepower." "Why this?" "Because we understood something you didn't," Chen replied. "The greatest victories don't come from destroying your enemy. They come from transforming them. You came to eradicate us, but we're giving you the one thing you never expected: understanding. The quantum virus continued its work, spreading through the neural network that connected every ship in the Zarkak's fleet. It carried with it not just information, but the very essence of human consciousness, our capacity for growth, for change, for seeing beyond the limitations of our current understanding. Neural pattern stabilization across 80% of the fleet, HFY reported. The transformation is becoming self-sustaining. Chen felt a surge of relief through her neural link. The gamble had paid off. Instead of meeting the Zarkaks with conventional weapons, humanity had chosen to fight with understanding, to defeat them not by destroying their bodies, but by touching their minds and souls. This is why we only needed one ship, she transmitted to the entire fleet. Because sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't the one that destroys your enemy. It's the one that helps them see through your eyes. As the battle turned into something else entirely, the true genius of Earth's strategy became clear. They had turned the Zarkaks' own neural technology against them, not to harm, but to create understanding. In doing so, they had achieved something unprecedented in the history of interstellar conflict: victory without destruction, transformation without loss. Breaking point. The quantum cascade swept through the Zarkak's fleet like a tidal wave of consciousness, breaking down barriers that had existed for millennia. On the bridge of the inevitable dominion, Supreme Commander Vextal fought against the transformation even as his mind expanded with human experiences, memories, and emotions. "Impossible," he whispered, his tentacles writhing in distress. "Our neural architecture, our very consciousness. You've changed everything." Through the NEXUS core of the Prometheus, Captain Chen monitored the spreading transformation. The quantum virus wasn't just sharing information. It was reshaping the fundamental way the Zarkaks perceived reality, breaking down the ingrained patterns of thought that had led them to view conquest as their destiny. Neural pattern shifts are accelerating, Dr. Webb reported, his consciousness intertwined with the ship's quantum systems. The virus is achieving full integration across their fleet. Their collective consciousness is evolving. On screen after screen, the evidence of transformation was undeniable. Zarkak's crews who had arrived ready for conquest found themselves grappling with new perspectives, experiencing the world through the lens of human consciousness. The very qualities they had dismissed as weaknesses, empathy, creativity, the ability to question and change, became the tools of their transformation. "HFY," Chen called out, status of the quantum field. The AI's response resonated through their shared neural link. "The field has achieved critical mass, Captain. The transformation has become self-sustaining. Even if we were to withdraw now, the process would continue." In Earth Defense Command, Admiral Wong and Dr. Zhang watched as the data streams painted a picture of unprecedented change. The Zarkak's neural network, once a tool for maintaining rigid hierarchy and unquestioning obedience, was becoming something entirely new. "It's beautiful," Dr. Zhang murmured, watching the cascade of consciousness ripple through the alien fleet. "We're witnessing the birth of a new form of awareness, the merging of two species' ways of thinking." Aboard the inevitable Dominion, the breaking point arrived not with violence, but with understanding. Vextal, his consciousness now irrevocably altered by human experiences, faced the truth that had eluded his species for so long. "All ships," he transmitted, his voice carrying a new weight of comprehension. "Stand down, weapons. What we came here to destroy. It's not what we thought it was." Through the quantum link, Chen could feel the ripples of change spreading through the alien fleet. Ships that had arrived as conquerors were becoming something else, witnesses to a transformation that would reshape both species. "Your studies of humanity were thorough, Supreme Commander," Chen transmitted, "but they missed something essential. We survived countless challenges not because we were stronger or more advanced, but because we could adapt, change, and grow. Now we shared that gift with you." The Prometheus maintained its position as the Zarkak's fleet underwent its metamorphosis. Through HFY and the NEXUS core, The crew could sense the cascading changes, fear giving way to understanding, hostility transforming into curiosity, the rigid patterns of Zarkak's thought dissolving into something more flexible and alive. "We're detecting unprecedented neural activity throughout their fleet," Commander Park reported. "Their consciousness is integrating human experiences at a fundamental level. They're not just understanding us. They're experiencing what it means to be human." The quantum virus had done more than just share information. It had transmitted the essence of human experience, the joy of discovery, the pain of loss, the power of love, the strength found in unity. The Zarkaks, who had seen these emotions as weaknesses, now found themselves transformed by them. "Captain," Araya's voice carried a note of wonder, "I'm detecting new neural patterns forming in the Zarkaks network. They're not just accepting our consciousness, they're synthesizing it with their own, creating something entirely new." On the inevitable Dominion's bridge, Vextal stood transformed. Through human eyes, he saw the beauty of Earth hanging in space, not as a target to be conquered, but as a cradle of life and consciousness that had produced something remarkable. "We came here believing we understood war," he transmitted to the Prometheus. "You showed us something beyond war. You've given us perspective." The breaking point had come not through force of arms, but through force of understanding. The Zarkaks fleet, which had arrived as an invasion force, was becoming something else, a witness to humanity's most powerful weapon. The ability to change minds not through destruction, but through connection. "Neural transformation has reached all vessels," Dr. Webb confirmed. "The process is complete and stable. They couldn't undo this change even if they wanted to." Chen felt a deep satisfaction through her link with Araya. They had gambled everything on the belief that consciousness itself could be a more powerful force than any weapon, that understanding could achieve what violence never could. "This is how humanity fights," she transmitted to the fleet. "Not by destroying our enemies, but by helping them grow. Not by proving our superiority, but by sharing our perspective. We don't need to annihilate you to survive. We just needed you to understand." As the transformed Zarkaks fleet hung in space, their weapons powered down, their consciousness forever altered, the true magnitude of humanity's victory became clear. They had not just prevented an invasion. They had transformed an enemy into something new, something that could understand and appreciate the very qualities they had come to destroy. Victory's price. 3 days after the transformation of the Zarkaks fleet, the Grand Chamber of the United Earth Defense Council hosted an unprecedented meeting. Captain Sarah Chen stood before representatives of both species, her neural link with Araya still active, sensing the profound changes in the Zarkaks' consciousness. Supreme Commander Vextal, now forever changed by human experiences, faced the assembled leaders. His once rigid posture had softened, his facial tentacles moving in patterns that reflected his new emotional depth. "We came here believing we understood warfare," Vextal began, his voice carrying the weight of transformation. "We had studied every human conflict, analyzed every battle strategy, but we had failed to understand the most fundamental aspect of your species, your capacity to transform both yourselves and others." Admiral Wong stepped forward, his weathered face bearing the subtle signs of relief mixed with caution. "The price of this victory isn't just measured in technology or tactical advantage. It's measured in the bridges we've built between our consciousness." Through her neural link, Chen could sense the ripples of change still flowing through the quantum network. The Zarkaks fleet that had arrived to conquer Earth was now something entirely new, a hybrid consciousness that combined the best aspects of both species. The Neni XUS virus didn't just change them, Dr. Zhang explained to the assembly, her holographic displays showing the intricate patterns of the transformed neural networks. It created a feedback loop. Every human experience we shared was processed and integrated, creating new neural pathways that neither species had before. The implications were staggering. The Zarkaks had arrived as conquerors, but would leave as partners in a grand experiment of consciousness. Their rigid hierarchical society was already experiencing unprecedented changes as the transformed fleet crews shared their new perspectives with their homeworld. "We're detecting continued evolution in their neural patterns," Commander Park reported, monitoring the quantum feeds. "The transformation isn't just stable. It's growing, spreading. Their entire civilization is beginning to change." But victory had its price. The quantum virus had irreversibly altered both species. The Zarkax would never be the same, and humanity had taken its first steps into a new era of consciousness manipulation that carried its own risks and ethical questions. "We weaponized understanding," Chen reflected, addressing the council. "We turned empathy into a tool of transformation. The question now is, how do we ensure this power is never misused?" Through HFY, she could sense the complex emotions flowing through the quantum network. The Zarkax were grappling with their new reality. The joy of expanded consciousness mixed with the disorientation of fundamental change. "Your species has given us something we never knew we needed," Vextel said, his transformed consciousness evident in every word. "You've shown us that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the courage to change, to grow, to see through new eyes." The council chamber hummed with the implications of this new reality. Humanity had proven itself capable of not just surviving against overwhelming odds, but of transforming those odds entirely. They had turned a moment of existential threat into an opportunity for unprecedented growth. The Prometheus was never just a ship, Admiral Wong addressed the assembly. It was a proof of concept, a demonstration that consciousness itself could be the ultimate frontier of human innovation. Dr. Webb stepped forward, his neural link with the NEXUS core providing real-time data. "The transformation continues to spread through their civilization. Every Zarkax connected to their neural network is experiencing the change. We've triggered a cultural and consciousness revolution on a scale never before seen." But with this victory came responsibility. The power to transform consciousness carried implications that would reshape the future of both species. The quantum virus had opened doors that could never be closed, created possibilities that could never be unmade. "We must ensure that this technology, this ability to share and transform consciousness, is used wisely," Chen urged. "We've proven that understanding is the ultimate weapon. Now we must prove we're worthy of wielding it." As the meeting continued, the Prometheus remained in orbit, its NEXUS core still humming with the quantum connections that had changed everything. Through HFY, Chen could feel the ongoing transformations, the ripples of change spreading outward through space. "The universe just changed," she transmitted to her crew through their neural link. "Not through force, not through destruction, but through the simple act of sharing what it means to be human." In the vast darkness of space, the transformed Zarkax fleet hung in formation around Earth, no longer an invasion force, but a testament to humanity's most powerful weapon: the ability to change minds by opening them to new possibilities. The price of victory was eternal change. Both species had stepped into a new era of consciousness and connection. The weapons of the future would not be built of metal and energy, but of understanding and transformation. Humanity had proven that the greatest power wasn't the ability to destroy worlds, but the courage to change them. As Earth and the transformed Zarkax began the complex process of building a new future together, one truth became clear: in the face of extinction, humanity had not just survived, they had evolved, taking their would-be conquerors with them into a future neither species could have imagined alone.